Hey, what's up, people? It's me, Emkwan, here with Emkwan TV. Peace and blessings to you all out there. I haven't done that in a while, have I? Hope you guys are well, and welcome to this first Q&A video vlog that I'm doing. I've been making YouTube videos for the last 3 years, 4 years, in fact, on YouTube. It's a long, long time, and believe it or not, this is the first Q&A video vlog that I'm doing, and I've tried to answer as many questions in the past, whether they've been left on individual videos, like commenting directly to those, or what I've done is I've kind of answered those on social media. If you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Emkwan, you'll know that if you ask me or tweet me, and as long as it's kind of sensible, I will answer those questions back there. But a lot of people have wanted me to do like these Q&A videos, and this is the first time I thought about it, and I kind of finally got around to doing it. It's really been my fault for not doing it. I just kind of been a bit lazy or haven't had the time or whatever, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, this is the first of hopefully many videos, and what I wanted to do was, we got quite a lot of questions that were submitted throughout the videos and on social and on my blog, and this time I wanted to do a video about myself first, like answer as many of the questions about what I do and those kind of questions, and then next time in the next vlog focus with Miss Bila on specific questions that are to do with both of us. So we're going to do that next time, but this time it's all about me. And if you're watching this for the first time, welcome to Emkwan TV. And if you want to know how you can ask a question, it's really simple. Leave a comment down below in this video. If you want me to kind of expand on any questions that I've already mentioned, then again, leave a comment down below. You can also use the hashtag AskEmkwan on Twitter or on Instagram. Just remember to CC me in on both of those. That's @Emkwan on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can also use the anonymous page on my blog, which is emkwan.com/ask. So that's emkwan.com/ask. You can leave a comment there or question, and I'll try and answer that for you. So I've got a bunch of questions here from a bunch of different people, and what I'm going to do is, in fact, I'm not going to use people's names because it's just, I'm not going to use people's names this time. That way it just kind of makes it easier to ask the kind of questions you want and not be afraid of getting judged or whatever. So let me start off. First question that I'm going to start off with, this is actually a very common question. Emkwan, what do you do and how did you get started on YouTube? Okay, so this is asked all the time, and what I do is I make YouTube videos online. I have 2 channels. I have a tech and lifestyle channel, which is in the Middle East. It's one of the leading independent tech lifestyle channels. It's called Avora TV. It's interesting how many people that watch the vlogs don't know about that channel. I don't know how or why, but that's my main channel. That's kind of like the main channel that I use and put content up on. And we cover things like tech, gadgets, lifestyle, cars, as much as we can from that kind of genre of stuff. And I started that channel back in 2011, I think, or 2012. So that's my main channel. And then there's this channel, which is Emkwan TV. And online, I do a fair few things. I'm a blogger, I'm a commentator. I also act as a consultant for brands as well, like a brand advocate. So I work with companies, I work with individuals, I work with startups, I work with a range of different people to try and help them understand social and understand how to kind of market online. So it's digital marketing, it's social marketing, those kind of methods. So that's what I do. And then my main job, my 9 to 5, is in higher education here in the UAE, which brings me on to the next question, which is, where do you live? So I live in the UAE, which stands for the United Arab Emirates. It's in the Middle East, and I live in the capital, which is Abu Dhabi. I used to live in another emirate called Ras Al Khaimah, or RAK for short, but at the beginning of, like, middle of last year, summer last year, I moved over to Abu Dhabi. Next question, why did you move from the UK? Okay, so me and Miss Bila made this move about 2 years ago, and a simple reason was that I got asked for a particular job here and position, and when we kind of weighed it out, it sounded good. The money was good. The weather is awesome. It's sunny like practically all the time, and it just was a nice kind of change for us from the UK. I was working really hard, working on like a bunch of projects there, a bunch of different roles, and we kind of wanted a slower pace of life, if you like, and just a chance to kind of explore something new while we're still young and have that opportunity. So that's the reason why we moved from the UK. The next question is do you miss the UK? Yes, very much so. I miss the UK a lot. There's a lot of family there, there's a lot of friends there, there are a lot of people that we know, and the culture that we're kind of used to. It's nice to be out here because it's learning a new culture, meeting new people, meeting new friends and things. But there are parts of the UK or life in the UK that you do miss. A lot of the stuff that I post up online, on the vlogs, on Twitter, on Instagram, people always assume that it's kind of like, it's perfect, 100% perfect. And I've spoken about this in other vlogs as well, where it's not always that way. There are a lot of things underneath or behind the scenes that you don't get to see, and I won't put out there either. But it can be difficult. It can be difficult being away from my brothers, for example, or for Miss Bila to be away from her family. It's really, really difficult. And on an average, we go back probably once a year. So we have to wait 12 months to see people. And I get only 4 weeks. So it's about a month to see them. So it can be quite challenging in that respect. Okay. Next question. Why did you start making YouTube videos? So I started making YouTube videos, I was at university at the time, and my first channel, which is youtube.com/Emkwan, which is offline, I don't upload any more videos onto that now. I started off on YouTube because I was bored, to be honest. I was at university, it was my final year, and I should have been studying, but I kind of got into social because a friend of mine was selling a camcorder, and it was a waterproof camcorder, and I felt it was a little too good to be true. So I went online and I started searching up, and I kind of, over like 3-4 days, I remember spending a lot of time on YouTube. And it was really interesting because I started off reading blogs, but they got really kind of boring. It was just writing. I just wanted to quickly be told what was good about this camcorder, just take me around the camcorder. And that's how it started off. And I started watching these YouTube videos about the camcorder, and then it moved over to talking about hacks for BlackBerry. And at the time I was a BlackBerry user, like a power BlackBerry user, and this was, when the BlackBerry 9900 or 9000 had come out rather, and it was, everybody had a BlackBerry. This is kind of almost pre-iPhone. In fact, it was round about, actually the iPhone had come out by that time, but it was kind of, BlackBerry was still in, basically. And I started watching unboxings, which were really odd, like how, people were getting really passionate in the comment sections about people unboxing products. And I started to enjoy them. So any product that I'd go into, like PC World or Comet or whatever, and want to see an unboxing, I'd go back to my student apartment and kind of type it in and check it out. And I started getting hooked. And the first video I made was a hack that I'd found online that was actually for the iPhone. It was to try and get BBC iPlayer on the BlackBerry. And it was really, really interesting. It was just kind of like, at the time, I was on the underground. A lot of people were on the underground, and they would kind of have to physically download the night before or a few nights before things that they want to watch on the underground. And on a BlackBerry, because of different screens, you had to kind of adjust the screen size and this, that, the other. This hack didn't require any of that. You just kind of put the BBC iPlayer program in, and it would download onto your PC, and then you can use that direct and move that to your device. So I made a video about that, and I put it up, and I wasn't expecting any results. And I didn't check my video until like 3-4 days later. And like I had like 1,000, 2,000 views, and I had all these emails from people on crackberry.com forums who were like, wow, you know, thank you very much, we're going to reshare this is going to be shared out. And that's really where my YouTube career started off from. The rest is history. I mean, originally when I started off, I kind of played on, I made quite a few videos, and one of the comments that were made were, you know, why don't you show us your face? What do you look like? Are you black? Are you white? Are you Asian? Like all sorts of weird and wonderful questions that were particular to me, which surprised me because I thought people would be into the technology and not about myself. So somebody gave me an idea to wear a mask, and I started wearing a mask, and it was kind of interesting because the moment I started wearing a mask, it just increased people's interest. People wanted to know, you know, who is this guy? Why does he wear a mask? And it kind of spiraled from there. And that's where the brand of Emkwan came around. There was another question that somebody asked about where does the name Emkwan come from? So Emkwan is actually a nickname that was given to me by some friends in the UK, and it's stuck. And so I used that name, and it wasn't, not a lot of people knew about it. It was like close friends. So the people that knew the name Emkwan knew that it was me behind the mask. The mask was a massive success, actually. I could have still continued that wearing the mask, and it would have been really successful. But there were a lot of hurdles, and one of the biggest hurdles was companies that wanted to work with me quite seriously. I remember BlackBerry getting in contact and wanting to use the videos that I had made, but wanted me to attend an event. And I asked them, well, I'm going to wear a mask, and they weren't happy about that. So there were limitations for that. I could never wear a mask and make videos here. I think that would be completely problematic. So yeah, so and things change, you know, on a YouTube kind of platform. You expand, you change, you learn different things. And they got to a point where in 2011 or 2012, it got to a point where I couldn't use a mask anymore. And there was a kind of a roof that I'd hit with Emkwan, youtube.com/Emkwan, and I decided to co-found and launch a new channel, basically, which was Avora. So that's what we launched, and it was more about myself as a presenter and trying to build my own kind of real persona in consultancy and kind of getting known as a commentator on technology. So that's it in a nutshell, kind of the story of how I started making videos. Right, next question. Next question is, why do you have so many phones? I don't think I have that many phones. I know people that I work with that have more phones than I do. I currently have the iPhone 5, which is my daily driver, if you like, or the main phone that I use. I have a BlackBerry Q10, which is a solid keyboard phone that I use for work and a few other things. And then I use kind of a BlackBerry Porsche P9982. BlackBerry here is really popular, so it's kind of the event phone, or when I need to kind of impress people, I pull that out. But those are the three phones that I use at the moment. Next question is, how do you edit your videos, and what do you use to record the videos? This is an interesting question, because again, it's one that I get asked a fair bit. So let me talk about what I use first of all. I have a Nikon D3100, which is my main DSLR. I use that not as much as I would like to, or I should, purely because it's a bit, you know, using a DSLR isn't easy. I'm not into trying to make like amazing visual videos. I think that's a big part of it. It's important, but I think it's really important to make sure that you produce content and get it out there. I'm saying that like I do it, but I still don't produce content as regularly as I would like, and I know as you guys would like me to make. So it's a bit funny, but the DSLR is good for kind of the big effects. It's quite complicated to use, and it's got an 18 to 55mm lens, which is stock, and then I've got, I think, a prime 35mm lens. So I use that for certain things. And then I've got a Canon Ixus camera, which is ideal. It's a budget camera. If any of you are interested in buying that camera or buying a camera to record videos or vlog, I would highly recommend that. I think it's about 150 or 160 pounds, about 500 dirhams perhaps, or 700 dirhams, something around that price. It's an awesome camera. It's got this really nice wide angle lens. I use that for some of the vlogs, and it's super easy to use, great battery life, and I can edit that on my iPad or whatever. And then the other camera that I use, believe it or not, is a camera that I carry with me everywhere, which is the iPhone, my phone camera. It's really good. Not great with stabilization. I have a problem with moving my camera a little too much, but hey, it's a camera nonetheless, and it's good. It's good for that. The other thing is, the question was about how do I edit my videos? Okay, so editing is done on either my iPad, and I use an iMovie for that, which is really good. Pop the scenes in. I've got my intro, my outro that I use for both Avora and Emkwan. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Depends on the circumstances, how I feel that day. Cut or chop whatever I want that I've recorded, and then use that. The other thing that I do use is I use Final Cut Pro 10 on my Mac. Sometimes I use iMovie when it's like particular things on my Mac, and also Motion. And Motion will give me kind of like some of the special effects and things like that. So those are the cameras that I use and the programs that I use to edit. Next question. Who are your biggest YouTube inspirations? Wow. Okay, so when I started off YouTube, the people that inspired me were people like DRB UK. He was actually he no longer makes YouTube videos, which is such a shame. I think he stopped now because of work or whatever, but he was like the UK tech dude that I watched a lot of. And at that time I was interested in getting a Mac computer, but it was outside of my student budget at the time. But I used to watch those because he had made a channel that was just dedicated from the tech, from Windows platform to Mac, and the migration and the experiences moving from one to the other. So that was the main YouTube channel that I used to watch. iGlaswegian, who makes YouTube channels, not as regularly as I would like to see, but he makes really good YouTube videos. And then there's Dave from Geekanoids that a lot of you guys will also watch. He's like unbelievable. He's been making YouTube videos like forever in internet terms, and very consistent, very personal as well. I like all three of those YouTubers, tech YouTubers, are people that will talk about things but also give their opinions. And I've kind of tried to copy that. There is a massive problem at the moment, and this is a personal belief, that a lot of people nowadays want to see more of like the stats, and there are YouTubers that will just like pump out stats. I've never kind of understood the reason behind that from a kind of consumer viewpoint. But I've been asked a lot to do that, and I try and make YouTube videos that I would watch myself, and I wouldn't necessarily watch those, but I get asked a lot to do that. And this is one of the problems that, as a YouTuber, when you get to a certain stage, there are videos that you are asked about, or products that you're asked to review, or things that you're asked to do that you wouldn't do yourself. So there's kind of a balance there. There's a massive need for it though. There are massive need for video comparisons when you've got 2 phones or 3 phones or whatever, you know, which one is better, a Samsung Note 2 or a Samsung Note whatever, an S4 versus an S5, or an S5 versus an iPhone. I think I'm an opinionated guy, so that will come across on camera, but there are people that do that. But these 3 YouTubers that I mentioned, they were people that would kind of use their personal opinion, and I like that a lot, because I think that if you learn to trust someone, you learn to trust their kind of what they like and dislike, and when you understand that, you can then use that to reflect that on what you want. And I used to enjoy that with Dave. I used to enjoy that with DRB UK and iGlaswegian as well. As far as, I mean, there's a ton of tech YouTubers that I watch and are an inspiration for me, but those three would be the main ones. The other inspiration at the moment for the vlog channel has to be It's Judy's Life. Me and Miss Bela watch that like semi-religiously. It's really good. And that was a big inspiration for me to start vlogging, because I wanted to kind of, in the same way that they had done, kind of put together my life for myself. I mean, this is the cool thing about vlogging. Like, I don't need to make vlogs to entertain. I don't feel like I need to do that. So I'll make a vlog when I need to, and there is a balance of obviously like kind of entertaining you guys as well. But It's Judy's Life showed me how you could get vlogs to kind of document your life. And I watch my own vlogs back. It's interesting. The other day I watched a vlog about when I first moved out here and why I kind of moved out. And I don't say anything on camera, but I know when I watched that, the emotions that I was going through, the issues, the thoughts that I had, the worries that I had, the kind of the hopes and ambitions that I had at that time as well. And it's awesome. It's kind of like when I get to a stage, when me and Miss Bela get to a stage where we're older and we need to kind of remember the blessings, remember the hard times, remember the good times, whatever, we can use our vlogs for that. So the final kind of YouTube inspiration there would be It's Judy's Life. Okay, I've been like rambling on for like 20 minutes. I can notice the time in that corner over there. So I'm going to kind of wrap up with the last two questions. The last question is, this is funny. Let me see. Are you friends with Otis Daly? And what's he like? Otis Daly is an awesome guy. He's like, back when I had the Emkwan channel, where it was just youtube.com/Emkwan, we made this kind of Christmas unmasking thing, because at the time everybody was like, hey Emkwan, show us who you are. So I did this like combo stroke interview with him. It was a really cool video. I'll post the link down below. And it was a really nice video. It's a video where we got to meet him. He kind of, starred in the first part of the video, and we had an interview with him. It was really, really good. He's an awesome guy. I'm really happy to see him back on the Gadget Show in the UK. A very, very down-to-earth guy, just full of positivity. Like, the way he was talking to us, and unbelievably down-to-earth. Like, really, really cool. Had a good time with him. I'd like to think I am friends with Otis, so that's hopefully answered that question there. And the last question, let me see, there's quite a few still. Okay, I'm going to choose this one because it's kind of relevant now at the moment. Somebody asked, what's it like using Google Glass? And do you think it's the future of wearable technology? Google Glass is awesome in an unusual way. It's awesome in a futuristic way. I liked using Google Glass, and then there were things about it that I didn't like. And the question here is it, do you think it will be like usable in the future? I think it will be, but Google needs to change things slightly. If you had asked me this 6 months ago, I would have said definitely yes. But after wearing Google Glass and after kind of interacting on a project here that I'm working with that's around Google Glass in the Middle East, there's a lot of issues to do with like privacy. There's a lot of issues to do with whether or not it's going to be sustainable, whether or not people will react well to it. Now here in the Middle East, particularly in the UAE, it's a very modern country, but there are certain cultural limitations, and one of those is recording people without their permission, particularly women, particularly sort of young kids as well. And with Google Glass, it's not helped itself already, because it's kind of associated with a stalkerish kind of mentality. So there's a problem there. Now, I think there will be people who will take it up, and I can see it being used not necessarily by mass, like, I don't think it will be as popular as a smartphone. I think there will be individuals in key areas, in key industries that will take it up. I think a lot of vloggers will definitely get into it because it can be used in a vlogging kind of situation. But I think the average person is not going to get used to it because it's still so tied in with your phone. And the privacy issues that have come about. I think it's going to take a few good years and, you know, more interaction and more kind of wearable technology to be involved before people will feel comfortable wearing Google Glass openly and on their faces. I think other people react to that differently as well. I remember when I had the Google Glass, I was walking downstairs and to the parking lot, and the few people that had seen me wearing it, they kind of stopped and froze and were like, "He's got Google Glass." It was one of those situations, and I didn't know as a wearer whether or not that was positive or negative. You know, I don't know if I glanced back at them, they would perhaps put their kids away, or, you know, or kind of cover their faces or something like that. So I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky question. I think there's a lot of people who've blogged about this. I'm a Google Glass explorer, so these are some of the concerns that I have. But I've done a video about this, in fact, on my main channel, youtube.com/AvoraTV, and I'll post a link down below for this one, and you guys can check that out over there. That's 25 minutes, man. That's like the longest video I've ever put together. So I'm gonna stop it there, and there are a fair few more questions, I'll make another Q&A video for that. But if there are any other questions that you have, or questions related to the questions that I've asked here, then remember to leave a comment down below. You can ask me on Twitter at Emkwan with #AskEmkwan, yeah, and on Instagram at Emkwan, and you can use the hashtag #AskEmkwan, and then on emkwan.com/ask, and I'll try and cover those as much as I can. I think the next video that I'll do with Miss Bila, because there's a few questions about us and kind of particular to the UAE and living as a couple and stuff like that. So I'll try and do those in the next video. Let me know what you guys think, like honest opinions, seriously, like what do you think of the Q&A video for this one? What did you think? Were you surprised by any of the questions? Leave a comment down below. Please share it with other people that you think might be interested in this. And remember to hit subscribe on both my channels, Emkwan TV and Avora TV, and give it a thumbs up. It's always good. It always helps us. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, hopefully soon. Until then, keep it geek. Peace and blessings.